Hello everyone, welcome back. One of the most common questions that I get is if I have to do anything to get this ProMag drum to fit this Lynx 12. Now I bought this about 8 to 10 years ago. And I remember when I got it, there was instructions for getting this to fit onto the Sega 12, because back then the Lynx 12 didn't exist yet. Back then I got this to fit for my Sega 12, I remember that there was instructions that came with it. I guess they don't include the instructions anymore because enough people have asked me that I don't think it's a case of one or two people losing the paper or them forgetting to include the paper. I'm thinking that they really don't include the instructions. From what I recall, the instructions said that you may have to file a little bit off the back. Don't use a Dremel, just use a little file. File a little bit off the back if you need to. File a little bit off the front if you need to. And you may also have to file these areas right here on the side, right? There's like a little ledge on the side here. Looking at this, it doesn't look like I did any filing work on the front or the back. It looks like I did a little filing work on the edge over here where it inserts, where it actually makes contact with the magazine well. Okay, now like I said, when I initially modified this, I modified this to fit my Sega 12, and I can see that on the Lynx 12, when I put it in, okay, I can see that I got a little bit of play over there. So it looks like I would not have had to modify it for the Lynx 12, or I could have modified it less. However, it still does work fine, so I have no issue. Also, when I fill this up, when you put a shell in there, this tightens up because there's now because right now this is empty. So when you put even one shell in there, now that shell is pressing up against the bottom of the bolt, so this doesn't wobble as much. Okay. It's just wobbling now because it's empty. Basically it's a lot easier to remove material than to add material. So that's why I think they put extra material around this. And plus, with AKs, they're pretty notorious where they have like consistency differences from one to the other. So that's why I think they put extra material where you have to file it down. As you're putting it in, you gotta just kind of look at it and see where it's catching. Is it like not locking into place, right? So when you go to put it in, like that, does it look like there's not enough room in the back for it to actually snap in? Okay. Is it making contact over here where it's not letting it go? So you gotta look at it and see where you have to remove material from. File it away just a little bit at a time, just enough to get it to fit. Also makes sense to order it from someplace where you can return it in case you really screw it up, right? So order it from one of these warehouses where you can basically say, hey, it's broken, don't work, I want to return it and get your money back or exchange it. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're ordering something like this that you may have to modify. Now, I've covered this in other videos. One of the things to be aware of with these with the drums, it looks really cool, but when you fill it up, it gets really heavy. I think it's a 20 round mag, and also when you're shooting this, basically it tends to hit your forearm. So I really prefer the stick mags. However, this is something that you should have one. I think I've only shot this maybe 10 times or less in the 8 years that I've had it. So usually I kind of hold it like for celebration, or if I want to impress somebody or something, like do a like 4th of July video or something. I'll whip this out and I'll just blast away with it. But most of the time, I'm shooting with stick mags. This Lynx 12 here already is up to like 15,000 rounds, so I do a lot of shooting. I use this to train people, so these guns do a lot of shooting. Now, while I got you guys here and we're talking about the Lynx 12 with the drum mags, let me tell you guys, the reason why I originally bought the Sega 12, all right, was because I had gone to a gun range, and somebody had a street sweeper. There you go. Somebody had a street sweeper there, which was a drum-fed shotgun. It wasn't a semi-auto shotgun like this. It wasn't an AK style shotgun. It was a drum-fed shotgun that was manually operated. You had to basically fill up the shells one by one, and then you had to wind it up, there was no sights on the gun, right? So so it had this flip up stock. So when you would shoot it, from what I recall, I think it was half a pull would rotate the drum, and then the other half of the pull would shoot it. Going on memory now from like more than 8 to 10 years ago, you know. So and then it did not. It wasn't semi-automatic, so it would not automatically eject the shells. There was an ejection rod where you would have to actually push them out one at a time. But I had never seen anything like it. This was before I had ever seen the Saiga 12, and I saw a guy had it at a gun range, and I'm like, oh wow, that is like super cool. Can I try it? You know, shot the gun. The guy said that look, he was looking to sell it. I said, wow, this is definitely awesome. I want to buy this. I'd be happy. But I said before I actually, first of all, I don't have enough money on me, but let me go get some money and let me do some quick research on it to see what I'm getting into. So, you know, ran home, got on the computer, looked up the gun, and I found out that it was that the ATF had classified it as a Class 3 destructive device. So basically, it was basically in the same category as a machine gun. And I really just didn't want to get into that type of a mess. I train people, so it's like, you know, any gun I'm buying, I'm going to train people on, so it's going to be out there, it's going to be seen. So I can't, you know, I can't use guns that I can't like be seen publicly with them. Okay, so it didn't make sense for me to buy it at that time. And at that time, I, you know, like, you know, any gun I bought, I had to be able to use it. So I went back. I told the guy, yeah, sorry, I can't buy it. Did you know it's a Class 3 destructive device, classified as a machine gun, basically? Guy said the guy did not know that. I told him, listen, man, you better get this gun out of here. I never saw the guy again, never heard from him again. So you know, if you're the ATF watching this, I have no idea where the guy is. Okay, and even if I knew, I wouldn't tell him. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, so that's the story. And basically, after shooting that gun, I was like, this is so awesome. I immediately went to a couple of different gun forums, because back then, that was way before Facebook, so back then we had gun forums, and I told people I shot this awesome street sweeper thing. You know, what can I get? You know, I want to buy something. What can I buy that's close to it? You know, and then people told me about the Saiga 12. Within, I think, a week or two, I had bought myself a Saiga 12. You know, and I loved it. Started training people on it. First I started training myself on it, then I started training people on it. They loved it. Turned out to be a great moneymaker. Ended up buying 2 Saiga 12s. They each went about 30,000 rounds each before the bolt carrier started cracking. I did videos on that. You'll find it in my channel. I actually have a playlist for the Lynx 12 where I actually show you guys. I do a comparison. I show you guys how the bolt carrier started cracking after 30,000 rounds. On both of them. I broke both of them. And, you know, basically after they banned the imports, you couldn't buy any more parts. So at that point, I said, okay, great, I need a replacement now. I went to the Cheetah 12 was available at the time. Bought that. Cheetah 12 completely sucked. Would not cycle. The dust cover was flying off every time I shot it. It was a horrible gun. Got rid of that. Actually, from there, before I even sold that, I heard some good things about the Lynx 12. Bought that. The gun was an instant winner. I transferred over the stock from the Saiga 12 to the Lynx 12. So this a lot of people have asked me where I got this stock, because there's no adapter or anything. This basically fits right into it because it was designed to go onto the Saiga 12. So yeah, I don't think this is available anymore. But yeah, this was originally meant for the Saiga 12. I basically transferred it from the Saiga 12 onto the Lynx 12s when I bought these guns. And right now I've got 2 working ones, each with about 15,000 rounds on them. On one of them, I broke the bolt. I did a video on that. I have also replaced the recoil springs. Recoil springs didn't break, but they were starting to wear. And at this point, this one's also starting to wear. It's kind of on the light side. Actually, I pulled out the wrong gun. This one's not. I think the other one that I have, that one's even lighter than that. So the recoil springs are starting to wear. So you want to get extra recoil springs. Get yourself some extra bolts. They're not that expensive. I think the bolts themselves are $30. You will have to fit it. There's a video on that in my channel that you guys should check out. But yeah, get yourself extra recoil springs, that'll be the first thing that goes. Get yourself at least one extra bolt, and that get the one that comes with the extractor and the firing pin and all that. You'll have to do a little bit of fitting. I talk about that on my channel. But it's a great gun. I mean, it's I do lots of shooting. Great thing about this is it shoots birdshot right out of the box. You know, as long as you adjust the valve to the big hole over here, it will shoot birdshot as that's like 1,200 feet per second or faster. These guys here, because the recoil springs are worn out, they'll cycle with even 1145 birdshot. So even the weaker stuff, they will cycle it because the springs just so worn in. But generally speaking, you want to get 1,200 feet per second and higher on your birdshot so that it will cycle reliably. Okay. But it's a great gun. I love it. I even screwed in a tactical rail here where I can mount the light, and at night I actually bust clay discs at night using the light with this. So and I've mounted the red dot on here. This is the house on 507 CU on a UTG rail, pretty cheap rail. At some point I'll look into getting it because they got this stupid side rail here that's completely unnecessary. Probably add some extra weight. I should probably just take a Dremel and cut this out, but whatever, it doesn't matter that much. But yeah, this is awesome. I love this gun. But yeah, I just wanted to do a video on how to modify your ProMag drum to get it to fit that in case it doesn't fit, and basically just got to look at it, see where it catches. And like I said, the original instructions that I got said that you had to modify it. I think it said go to the back if you need to, go to the front if you need to. I didn't. I needed to go over here on my Sega 12 when which is what I got this for originally. On this one, I can see I probably wouldn't need to modify it at all. It looks like it would just fit. But then again, this one is at least 8 to 10 years old. The ones that they're making today might be just a little bit different, so just some things for you guys to be aware of. So if you do find other instructions on ProMag's website or anywhere else, follow their instructions first. I mean, those are obviously going to be the most up-to-date instructions, ones that come from ProMag directly. But since a lot of people are asking me, I'm going to kind of assume that those instructions are not available. So that's why I wanted to do this video for you guys. So if you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.